guys, Kristen here. So this is the start of another reading vlog. However, the content at the beginning, I actually thought I was filming the end of my previous vlog, and then it turns out it was way too long already. So I think towards the end of it, I am talking as if I'm wrapping up a vlog, and that's not the case. It's the start of a new one. So without further ado, here is my most recent reading vlog. Please enjoy. I'm gonna continue I have my lunch started, but I thought I would, just get on and catch up with where I'm at. So after I finished Flamefall and Winter's Orbit, I think are the last two things that I had read and updated you guys on. The next thing that I read was Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko, and it was so good. It was a little bit slow to start, and it didn't immediately grip me. I think I said in my in my TBR that it was a I came here to kill you trope, and it is that, but I also said that I thought that it was enemies to lovers, and it is definitively not. So it was really cute. It is I think it's African inspired for the most part, and our main character is like, her mother had her with a genie in order to make the daughter then fulfill the final of her third wish, because it was something that the genie cannot do. That's against the rules. So the wish was to kill the crown prince. So she tries out to be one of the council members and is actually chosen, and they basically all grow up together. It is very much so found family vibes, although it definitely focuses more on a few of them. It was a little bit hard to keep track of them all, but it wasn't really necessary because it was really just four of them that were the main important ones. It is young adult, and it is straightforward in the writing. It had the sense of this is straightforward and simple, but it was also deep, and it actually contained so many different themes that were masterfully interwoven together, so that it isn't just found family, it isn't just feminism, it isn't just cultural diversity and versus uniformity. It isn't just any of those things. There's also sort of this theoretical genocide that is not theoretical. There's sort of a genocide happening. Even though it was straightforward and digestible in the way that a really good young adult book is, it wasn't nothingness that some YAs are, or obvious tropes. I found the main character, Teresa, at first a little bit, I didn't connect with her originally. The women on this council are they're young girls from the age of being a young girl up until older, are told not only are you a counselor, but one of your special roles is that you get to be the bearer of future Raybearers. You could birth the future Raybearer, and it's ugh. And Teresa also is ugh about it. Okay, anyway, so eventually she develops some agency, and I really, really connected with her in the latter half. But at the first, she's trying to tamp down her feelings and her responses, or her intelligence, because she doesn't want to. She loves the crown prince, they're buddies, really close buddies, and she doesn't want to appear to be better than him because he is supposed to be the future emperor. All of that at the beginning, you're no, I don't like this, don't do this, Teresa. And then towards the end. Anyway, Raybearer, so good. I'm pretty sure that is a debut novel as well, and I am really looking forward to the next book. I have no idea when it comes out. I have not looked that up, obviously. Last night, or yesterday, or the last couple days, I started both The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson and A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. So two very different books. I don't like Nesta. I understand that we're going to go on a character arc and growth with Nesta, but so far, she just trying to videotape myself constantly reading when I'm reading this book, because I want to do a compilation of all of my facial responses to some of the smut that's in the book. So if I can do that, stay tuned for that. And I think that'd be hilarious. And then Hero of Ages, good so far. I'm only 10, I think I'm less than 10% in. And Sazed, my love Sazed is disillusioned with religion, and very much so grieving from the second book. And so I'm I just feel my heart is breaking for Sazed, because I get it, man. I've been there. Not with religion specifically. I'm not religious, but it's just like he's disillusioned. He's had some stuff has happened, and he's having trouble getting out of that. So yeah, that is where I was at where I am at. I will leave it here for my vlog. Hi guys, it is Tuesday afternoon. I thought I would pop on and do a little bit of a quick update on reading. I just finished filming a video. I did my like top 5 favorites from the first quarter of the year, along with some stats. Update on reading. I'm in the middle of reading The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson and A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. 2 very big booktube authors, but very different ends of the spectrum. I'll start with Hero of Ages. So this is the 3rd book in the Mistborn series. I'm about 20% in, I think. And so far so good. Like, it's definitely still all set up for where this book is going, dealing with the results or like the fallout from the end of the 2nd book. I obviously can't say too much about that plot without it being spoilers, but we have a couple new perspectives. One is Tensoon, the Kandra, who was introduced in the 2nd book. And that seems like it is starting a whole new kind of plot line. And I'm intrigued. Very intrigued. The other one, which just happened last night, and immediately I was like, oh yay, Spook, because I hadn't seen Spook yet. I was feeling, this was crazy, I was feeling like Spook kind of gets the short end of the stick a lot of the time. Like, he is one of the crew members that isn't focused on and a lot, and I feel bad about that. And then I like turned the page and there was a Spook chapter. And then he, in his chapter, started talking about how originally in the crew he was just sort of like the errand boy, and how everyone else was chosen by Kelsier, but he only like tagged along and was included because he was Clubs' nephew, and talks about how much he is working to try to be better and to be a more valued member of the team and contribute. And he like talked about how they all talk about how Vin like pushes herself and uses pewter just basically like all the time in order to like not sleep very much and to just like nose to the grindstone, keep working. And he is basically doing the same thing with his tin. He is his allomancy power is the tin one, so that's like you can increase all of your senses. And so he's walking around like in heightened senses, and has been for like a year, because he wants to push himself and do better and contribute. And it was just like, oh, Spook. I like that some of the crew members are getting a little bit more time. I felt like in the 1st book they're sort of archetypal people, how do you say that? And in the 2nd book, it started to focus on a couple others a little bit more, and I felt like certain ones were getting the shaft, and now I feel like that's not not going to play into it at all. I don't know how to say that. Sazed is still around, still my love, Sazed. Oh, and he is in pain. And Vin is trying so hard to figure out how to help him. And it was like really cute. They had this moment where she goes to him and she was like, usually you're who I go to for advice, but you're the one that I need advice about now. And she's just trying so hard. It's really cute. Their relationship, like, I think that's why I love Sazed as much as I do, is this like cute relationship that they had when he was her steward in the 1st book. So we'll see. I've heard that the 3rd book is very doom and gloom. And I can see that. We're definitely in the moment of being like, did they do the right thing? It seems like they have made everything a lot worse. So interesting. We'll see where that goes. I talk too much on these. Oh my gosh. My vlogs are so hard to edit because I talk for like so much. Court of Silver Flames. My plan was to listen to the audiobook, and then I listened to the introduction. There's like this little blurb at the beginning, which is like the memory of Nesta going into the cauldron, and the narrator, essentially did like a dramatic reading of this book. So over the top. But it made me feel like that's not going to work for me. I did end up getting a copy, like my copy from the library came through. So I have been actually reading the ebook for this rather than listening to the audio, although I was just out before doing an errand and I thought, why not? I'll throw it on and see if I can manage. And it's not as dramatic as that first intro scene was, but there are still moments where like they're just having a regular conversation and she's reading the character being like really like breathy and he would never, so, and there's like a limit to how I want them to be emotional, but I don't want it to be like they're doing a monologue on a stage of like a dramatic reading of this book. There's a limit that I have. Yeah, what to say about it so far? I actually don't love that it is doing both Nesta and Cassian's point of view. While the Cassian chapters are a nice reprieve from Nesta's outlook on life, for whatever reason, I'm just really not vibing with the dual perspective thing here, which is interesting because like I didn't have a problem with the multi-perspective in Throne of Glass. I obviously read many other books with multiple POVs. So I don't know if it's just that ACOTAR, like the original 3, weren't. And so that's what I was expecting. But for whatever reason, I'm not enjoying it yet. It's okay being back in this world. Part of me feels like I am just sort of satisfied with what I have gotten from the ACOTAR series, and I'm more interested in like Crescent City now. Like that's in terms of the Sarah J. Maas world. Like I feel a little bit done with ACOTAR. But I want to give this a shot. I want to give Nesta a shot. I think at least it's worth witnessing the growth and the development and like the overcoming of trauma that is very clearly a focus of this book. But I have this sort of belief that Sarah J. Maas actually just wants to write erotica now, or like romance or erotica. Part of me wants to go through all of her published books in the order, like chronologically, that they were published and see if the gradual increase in smuttiness like lines up, because I saw a snippet of an interview where I'm pretty sure she said that the next Crescent City book is going to be smuttier than A Court of Silver Flames. And from everything that I have seen from other reviewers, A Court of Silver Flames is smutty. So I shall see for myself soon. For whatever reason, I'm just not sucked in. Maybe I should have done a reread. Lots of time to swing me into the drama of this one. You guys, I messed up real bad. I took Hero of Ages out from the library like a couple weeks ago. And I only started reading it when there were 3 days left on my hold. And I did not finish it in time. It expired. It expired in the middle of the night when I was 40% into the book. And it was just starting to get like, everything was just starting to pick up and get exciting and good. So, if you live in Midtjylland, in central Jutland in Denmark, and you have a physical copy of The Hero of Ages, and you do not mind loaning said copy to a complete stranger, please let me know. Hit me up. I'm so devastated. It was just getting exciting. I should have stayed up. I should have stayed up all night the night before and gotten through it. This is what I get for trying to go to bed at a decent time and not reading all night long. This. I lose a copy of my book. I haven't gotten to yet, so I think I have 8 days left for that, which is possible. I'm just not sure if I feel like it. So that is what I'm editing right now. It's me in the past, having lots of time still to get to Hero Ages and not doing it yet. So kind of feels like my past is taunting me for that decision. Okay, I'm listening to Court of Silver Flames, and they just mentioned the blood right, like, it came up. And Cassian's telling Nesta what the blood right is. So 100%, Nesta's gonna do the blood right? Like, she's gonna participate in it. They also mentioned that one of the priestesses was like doing research on this like Valkyrie, this like historical band of female warriors. So that's 100% gonna happen as well, right? Like, I'm just putting that out there. Valkyrie's gonna come back. Nesta's gonna be in it. She's gonna participate in the blood rite. I'm calling it. Let's see what happens. Everything is so sexual between Cassian and Nesta. Just constantly. Reading vlog. Today is actually Tuesday, so it's like over a week since I started this reading vlog. So I just kind of got a little bit slumpy after being forced to stop reading The Hero of Ages in the middle of it. I was reading, obviously, and I did finish A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I am going to be doing like a full like review and book chat with my friend Taylor for this, so stay tuned for that. I think that's just gonna be so much fun to film, and I really hope that it turns out well for you guys, for your enjoyment as well. I would say that the like smut stuff wasn't as shocking as I thought it was going to be. It was fairly graphic, like the wording was very graphic, and she made some interesting choices there that I feel like made this those sex scenes like feel very pornographic, even though they were like fairly straightforward. It just wasn't as like risque as I thought it was going to be. Not to say that it wasn't risque. I don't know. People have different experiences. I feel like I'm getting down a weird path by commenting on this. And because of the way that it's done, I was actually a little bit let down by the smut because I felt like there was no tension. There was no tension in the lead up to things happening, and so it didn't really feel like that, like, you finally get this payoff of, like, a sex scene. I'll get further into it in the review. Overall, I think it was a very long book. I think that it didn't need to be that long from a plot perspective, because not a lot happens plot-wise. But I appreciate the length of the book for how much we needed to go through with Nesta and with overcoming her trauma and all of her stuff. Because that would take time. And so I appreciate, like, I don't think you could have a shorter book and go from where Nesta is at the end of the book to where she is at the beginning to the end. You couldn't have that journey in a shorter book. I don't know that I loved it. I don't know that I hated it. I just sort of have like, yeah, okay, that was fine. Otherwise, though, I've just been doing a lot of like rereading and not even like rereading full books. Do you do this where you just like go back to comfort reads and you don't even read the whole thing? You just read like scenes that you like. I do that a lot. I did reread fully Love in Other Words because when I was editing my first quarter, like favorites, and I talked about Love in Other Words. It really made me want to reread it, so I did. Still have not found a copy of The Hero of Ages, so like I'm on hold at the library still, but I think it's a long hold. I don't know, shot myself in the foot on that one, so that's my bad. Today is the 20th of April, which means The Crown of Gilded Bones, I think is what it's called. The Crown of Gilded Bones came out today by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is the third and final book in the Blood and Ash trilogy. I'm buying this on my Kobo. I've bought the first two books on my Kobo as well. I could not get them anywhere else. So, bought it, but I'm rereading A Court of Mist and Fury. I forgot to say that when I talked about A Court of Silver Flames. There were very similar beats in A Court of Silver Flames there were to grammar. I don't know. There were very similar beats in A Court of Silver Flames to A Court of Mist and Fury. And it actually just made me want to reread A Court of Mist and Fury. So I'm doing that. I never read the first couple chapters. I usually start when Rhysand shows up, and I go from there. And I skip some of the explanations, like some of the boring, like long explanations about stuff. I'm like, I don't need to reread about the Book of Breathings. Like, I just want to see the dialogue. I want to see the plot. I want to see the drama. So I'm in the middle of rereading that. And then I will get started on The Crown of Gilded Flames. I'm very excited to wrap that up. And then from there, I don't know. I'll double check my TBR for the month and see what I have left. But anyway, that is it for me today. Thank you for sticking around if you are still here.